We are back after DRX taking a victory up against SANDBOX. First, let's discuss the draft. Especially Nautilus mid, a blind pick. There was possibility Nautilus rotating into other lanes, and it really happened. And also Bitdory thought that players were trying to add more power to Pyosik on Lee Sin. DRX fans might have been a bit concerned in terms of Chobi locking in the Nautilus. However, the game went very smoothly. So Lyra kind of expected this jungle matchup. However, Nautilus on the mid lane actually is a big help for a jungle. So this kind of proves how much CB Max loves Pyosik. So we want to find out where had the biggest momentum that DRX game turned the whole game around. A lot of people actually focus on DRX with their mechanics. However, this is the moment that actually they showcase how well they are doing the macros as well. So Dove was pushing bot lane really hard, and also Blitzcrank and Rek'Sai helped clearing out the bot side. So they got free mid lane and also focus on the top lane. Kennen is also pushing top by himself. And this team fight after the siege, Zoe was in the bot lane, so DRX was able to outnumber the SANDBOX players. So they got a free turret in the mid lane, and also because they were spending so many times in the bot lane and clearing out the visions over there, they did not have any visions around top side, so Doran was able to push the top tier 2 turrets so freely. And also the follow from the DRX player was not also witnessed by the any ward. Maybe SANDBOX players were a little bit flustered by losing their mid lane turret, so they were rushing to protect their top lane. However, well, DRX players were much faster. So for the SANDBOX players, Aatrox should not just group up for the team fight. They could have just earned time for other laners in the side lanes. And also in terms of Herald, maybe SANDBOX was not ready for it at all. Maybe DRX was better at setup. So Bitdory and Lyra focusing that the rotation on the side of DRX was much better. So let's check out the player of the game. Chobi with that last hook on Leo close out the game.
게임을 끝낸 게 이제 다출견에서 시작됐기 때문에 또 많은 분들이 이렇게 서로를 행사한 게 아닌가라는 생각이 들어요.
이게 다 뭐 이런 생각도 했겠죠 그 당시에는.
In every team fight, well, Chobi was doing a great work. However, in the teamwork-wise, actually Chobi was doing a lot of work. However, we could hear that in the mic check, Chobi was a little bit unsatisfied with his own performance. However, his hook was finding so many opponents. Well, in addition, Nautilus on mid lane is not an easy champion to pick up any POG. However, some of his hooks were so crucial and critical that people just had to vote for Chobi in this case. Leo was holding on that flash because the cooldown is much more valuable on an AD carry compared to the Nautilus hook. So 7 people voted for Chobi for this game. So with this Chobi picking up the POG, let's move on to the decider match, SANDBOX versus DRX.
Thank you very much, G-Sun, and here we are for game number 3, the deciding match between SANDBOX and DragonX. Now, DragonX maybe won the game, right? but if you win off one hook like that, does it
not a
necessarily
close
mean
game.
that the draft was okay? I don't think so. And I think that there were certainly some issues. DragonX made that game much harder for themselves than it should have been in the draft phase.
Being needlessly over-aggressive. The Kyria taking the death sentence in stone plating, and then Summit said, you know what, no, you win.
Yeah.
As he ran back into the opponents. But also, the DragonX decision to push the bottom tier 3 turret instead of just getting the Infernal Dragon, resetting, playing for more item spikes, etc., just playing it more safe, especially because of how far ahead they were.
Yeah.
It really doesn't rub me the right way. So let's see if we're gonna get any sort of mix-up in draft. DragonX now is on the right-hand side, and we're talking about neutralizing. That was fast.
Yeah, they really don't want to go against Lucian this game. As the Ornn taken away once again. It's been the blue side ban here for SANDBOX both times that they've been there. But hasn't actually been looked at. Was left completely available in game number 2, but no one decided to snap it up. Akali to hit the bench as usual. That is 100% ban rate thus far in the LCK. Is Lee Sin going to continue to be the final blue side ban that SANDBOX go for? So it worked in game number 1, and they're going to do the same thing exactly in game number 2.
I wonder what's coming here. Aphelios.
Well, it would be surprising if that did not come through.
Are you ready for this, or here we go?
Yep, I'm ready.
Or is it going to be Atrox?
Oh my goodness, it's contagious. This was the DragonX plan all along. It was to make SANDBOX think that Nautilus is a key pick. And then they're able to storm through with an advantageous draft. Just insane. Now DragonX picks Aphelios and then the Rek'Sai most likely. And they're off to the races, my friend.
All right, well,
unless they pick Zoe. Zoe's another option that DragonX could go for here.
They'll probably go jungle, I would imagine.
You'd assume so, but I think picking away the Zoe from Dove could also be a decent idea. 7 seconds to go, and the Elise is going to be locked in. Still left up.
100% loss rate.
Yeah, let's see whether Pyoshik can turn that one around. As once you hit level 6, it's not exactly the greatest matchup into the old Olaf, but it's going to be more about that pre-level 6 timings.
See what ends up happening. SANDBOX probably just going to go jungle MF here, as MF being highlighted. Big surprise.
Now, if Carrier just locked in Zyra, we'd be some happy campers over here. Certainly is hook food for a Nautilus. We'll see. 13 seconds on the clock. Dove wondering about what he wants to grab, whether it be a jungler. I think jungle almost has to come in here, otherwise we get the Rek'Sai and Olaf bans, and OnFleek doesn't get one of his key champions, so the Olaf is, of course, going to be locked away.
So that is picked up. DragonX now probably just respond with mid laner. Support pool is still super wide open.
Yeah, not likely that it's going to get pinched enough. Flexible.
Well, that is flex.
Yeah.
Okay. Renekton Hover for the vacuum. Renekton Elise. Not really a big fan of that. Quinn gets banned away. There's still just so many counters up there in top lane that exist. So, pinching top, you can only really pinch the most obvious ones. Ornn was already also banned away.
Yeah, Onset and Quinn. Onset, Quinn, Lucian, Akali, Aurelia. In fact, it's almost all top laners apart from the Lee Sin.
We'll see if they end up banning away the Aatrox or not. Gangplank still available. Doesn't really strike me as a Summit kind of champion.
I think Aatrox is probably where Summit's mind is going to be going.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah, it lives there.
Yeah.
As, okay, DragonX reading the Nautilus pick as potentially a solo laner, so we'll be taking away the Blitzcrank that Gorilla did have a brilliant performance on. So making it more likely that the Nautilus is heading towards bottom lane.
Also, we'll see what comes in on R4 for DragonX. If they're going to...
Thresh. Oh, no.
Well,
Nocturne.
Nocturne.
The mid-Nocturne.
What?
Interesting. We saw mid Nocturne quite a bit in the Kesper Cup,
Yeah,
but since then, absent.
that would be an awful champion to R4, and you can draft in a way that you don't make it possible on R5, so Thresh picked up by DragonX on R4. They're reserving R5 for counterpick for either mid or top, and then allocating the Renekton as necessary, as Zoe being hovered again. Now, this opens up room for Ryze, opens up room for Syndra, and then at that point, Dub is going to have to take Cleanse. Or, well, he'll likely end up taking Cleanse against the Elise Syndra or the Elise Ryze. If you're really, really, really good and you're on page with your jungler, you can get away with taking Teleport. And yeah, there's the Aatrox, big surprise.
Yeah.
Start the game with the logo.
Yeah, you
Summit
just may as well have it on Summit to begin with.
That champion as, okay, Fizz, another counterpick to Zoe. And
I
definitely
love this.
Oh man, we have mono red versus mono red on both of these teams. The only thing is that
Okay, it's
What?
Kiana. We went from fun pick to not as fun.
I hate everything right now, Atlas.
It's very sad, isn't it? It's going to add a little bit more teamfight power to this composition, but the Fizz would have been just so much pick in the mid game, and that's exactly what you want to be playing around. Chovy has, in the laning phase, better follow-up for Pyoshik's Cocoon, with the chain CC opportunities given being able to terraform from the river, but I don't know, man.
It definitely just strikes me a bit bizarre given other champions that are available, but obviously they're just trying to go super, super aggressive, but their team composition falls off a cliff
Oh yeah.
once it hits mid-game. But likewise, the SANDBOX team composition, same damn thing. The only thing really holding it together in the later stages is going to be the Zoe and the MF, but because of the Renekton, because of the Kiana, etc., Aatrox actually does get value.
Yep.
Going up to 3-4 items, getting the Sterix, getting the Guardian Angel, getting that armor against Renekton and Kiana. It is actually problematic. I feel like even though there's a lot of autonomy on the side of DragonX, their team composition walks into sandboxes. Doesn't leave me feeling with a very good taste. Now, I do trust Chovy on a well, not a hyper carry, but an assassin.
On an assassin, yeah.
Like Kiana, to influence this game, especially because of the discrepancy in skill between him and other players.
I just feel like it's been Dante's drafting. We've been drafting in one of the layers. I'm not entirely sure which layer it is, but it ain't heaven. We are sinning our way to the top right here, and both of the teams are joining in as we get onto the rift for the deciding match. Chovy looking great, and I believe that Louis Vuitton. SANDBOX, this is basically the composition that they've been running this entire day. Changing up a few things when it comes to junglers, but Rek'Sai and Olaf do basically the same thing. Dove is on 3 games in a row on the Zoe, and Summit 3 for the Aatrox. Bottom lane is going to be where things change, and it's now Deft on the Aphelios. I wonder whether he'll die for the first time, so we'll be able to actually see a defined KDA for this pickup for him. We saw just how busted it was when Leo killed Deft with some chakrams and one auto attack of his Calibrum from downtown in that team fight underneath the inner turret. Wasn't enough to win them the game because, of course, Leo then followed it up by getting caught out and losing the game.
Well, maybe they're going for a late invade here. Trying to start things off right is SANDBOX. As they're making it look like they're just trying to clear wards. They don't know about Olaf. They're about to get the bad news.
Yeah, that's the stun landing onto Pyoshik. He has to flash instantly. Now Deft off to the side with his Calibrum active. Of course, Calibrum Severum.
Oh.
The exact ones that you're going to have is now we're continuing.
Don't let it reset.
Very close.
1 tick of patience
Yep.
available. He ends up even smiting it, not taking any risks whatsoever. Now, Elise was actually really quick. Whoa, what was that?
I don't know, that was you failing to talk.
Yeah, that was, I was getting a little tongue-tied right there.
Mm-hmm.
As she was very quick to just immediately go over to the wolf camp and eat that right away. So, already on her red buff, but warded up in left-hand side river, as well as the entrance to river. near the Raptor camp. So, unfortunately for her, when she ends up showing, if she does, everyone will know what her path is and be able to play around it with relative ease.
Level 2's collected on the bottom side of the map. Gorilla not quite with his just yet. As Doran slicing, dicing, trying to get some harassment down onto Summit. What's your take on the Aatrox versus Renekton matchup? I imagine the Crocodile wouldn't be too unhappy.
He's not super unhappy, but Aatrox is definitely very comfortable. And also, in this particular instance, you can see Doran crashes the wave. He can just recall right now. There's no reason.
You need to give up. They're never going to do it.
Some people do it, you know, in other regions. So, some people.
Yeah.
It's going to take time, like Morello versus Leandri's.
That's true.
But eventually, you know, scream at the sky enough and.
Not every team can be Gen G from last night, okay? Yeah. Not every team can just make the right decision.
Now, they know where Olaf is, but now, because of knowing where Olaf is, Doran is in this really awkward position where he can't get a very clean crash off, and so he'll eventually be pressured by the Fog of War, and this is the thing that you want to avoid in spots like this. Now, he did take a big chunk of HP out of Summit.
Yeah, he's been pretty happy in this lane so far, but not actually able to get too much. Pyosik with his Hex Splash is going to get himself over here, and there's the flash play. Leo in potential trouble. Gorilla trying to play defense. No Cocoon has gone out just yet as both flashes from the bottom side, but the next hook is going to land. Gorilla is going to go down, and the rappel is there to get Pyosik to safety. Love the play coming out from the rookie jungler on DragonX's side, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be heading towards a victory for the Elites.
Could be the first one here. Also, Hextech Flap. Hold on one second.
He's dying a little bit. He is going to be okay, though.
I'm back.
Yeah, sorted yourself
Hextech
out.
Flash Traption for the Elise is a little bit surprising. Also, Conqueror on her again. I was co-streaming LCS earlier, and there was actually a lot of people in chat that were making fun of it, but realistically, it's actually very, very good.
I was talking about it all Kesper Cup. Do you remember?
Yes.
All the time, and no one picked it.
A lot of people, they think that it's very trolly. She stacks it very quickly, and also the way that she conducts herself, she already has it right now. The way that she conducts herself in later stage team fights, she gets it really quick, and it's just going to add more value. And so it's a way to actually take Elise, who is traditionally a very sinful champion, that needs to get early advantages, needs to accrue early leads, and it's a way to give her a little bit more breathing room in the later stages of the game and mid-game as well, to have a little bit more oomph inside of team fights.
Summit, there's the flash forward. Cocoon comes out, trying to predict the flash, but Pyosik not quite long enough on that one. And Carrier will go back to the bottom lane now. Deft having some time on his own while Gorilla's going to help OnFleek take this first Ocean Drake of the game. Deft with great lane positioning, though, which really did give Carrier a window to get up here. And Flash means things are successful, but Doran had to invest his as well. And Gorilla back in this lane. Minion wave quite large. And with Infernum, Deft is going to accidentally push this wave back out.
Yeah. And Leo not actually doing... this is definitely a bit interesting lane manipulation happening down here in bot lane. And Deft obviously in the driver's seat in this lane right now. BF Sword versus Double Longsword. Obviously, Doran Blade versus Doran Blade.
Getting that first blood really helping Deft get himself into a great position, laning phase style. OnFleek moving up towards the top side. The dice should be available here. No, he went through his own minions. Can't even sidestep the undertow. Gets himself the Q back, but it's not going to be enough to save his life. And there's the first kill for SANDBOX going over to OnFleek there with his classic tag team alongside Summit.
We pan over to mid lane. Kiana has been locked up in the lane. Also, first recall. Just has the tier 1 boots, no mobility boots yet. Available. Kyria landing the death sentence, doesn't elect to do anything further than that.
Yeah, Deft didn't quite have the range available. Infernum Gravitum now available for Deft. Wants to get to that level 6. Of course, Gravitum, Moonlight Vigil, pretty strong.
수 있어요. 와주실?
You can come top right now. Do you want to come? No
아니
flash,
안돼
no
큐가
flash.
돼 큐가 돼 와봐. 노플.
Keep saying no flash, no flash, no flash.
Okay. Yeah, pretty easy as you like there for Summit and on Fleek, of course. Doran's able to get back to the lane very quickly and will continue to have slight CS advantage.
Yep. Also trying to zone him out of that cannon. I really like to see this. Sometimes you'll have players. I get it. Okay.
Nailed it. Waited
did
for
nail
that
that,
caster to get the last one
That
off.
was the, that was
dream.
the fadeaway right there for that minion. And now he's just going to shove it. Now there's nothing else that can really be denied. And so many times in solo queue especially, you'll see players that don't think about that. But that's a lot of gold. If you do that 3 times over, you almost killed them.
Yeah.
So, very important. That is essentially mini objectives inside of laning phases, basically, and you should view them as such. Kiana now with the mobility boots, ready to sin. She has her Nikes.
Yeah. Doesn't have any sort of CS advantage, and in fact, Dove is ahead by about 2 waves. Not really the Chovy way. Does generally find CS anywhere he wants. Dove currently leading as far as experience, the only player on the Rift at level 8. Deft will look for some plates, but doesn't get him. Thankfully had grabbed him, so would be able to slow the approach of Leo if any extended trade was going to come in. Carrier makes his way back down, Gorilla does the same thing, and we've just got 2v2 once again. Down bottom lane. At a 300 gold advantage here. As, DragonX have been farming better on the top and bottom sides. Deft wanting to hang around by the looks of things. Chovy picks up some grass, throws it into the mid lane. Dove with his heal that he's collected. Haven't seen too many redemptions yet, all the way up until level 8, but maybe it was just off screen.
Very small gold advantage by DragonX right now. As not much is really going on. Rift Herald obviously should be on the menu for someone. Chovy taking a little bit of damage right there. Unfortunately for him, Dove picked up a heal.
Pioshik thinking about picking up Shelly. She's going to at least yell at the Elise. As Pioshik is trying to come in here onto Summit, so close to his flash being available once again, but still has to be careful. Carrier's in there as well. Now Lantern's going to come over. They are going to find the cocoon. It's the face check from Summit. Exactly not what you want as the hook is layered so nicely. The World Ender comes in, but there is nothing that they can do as Carrier tanks up this turret. The Spiderling's going to do the same, and now Doran eating plates for dinner. Doesn't even want the food on them. He just wants the plates themselves.
And this is actually a really good display.
Supreme display, in fact, as Chovy throws that one out in the mid lane. Just an ignite to be thrown down onto Leo, but it looks like he is going to be able to get away. Gorilla, not so lucky. Now Chovy, can you get the dance? The flash out of the way from the bubble, and Deft is there to escort his mid laner to safety. And Shelly's going to go down as well. This is just a 1-2-3 punch from DragonX.
The game is really just spiraling out of control, and honestly, you're going to give a lot of credit to Doran this game. Yes, he did receive some pressure assistance in the early stages against Summit, but then he ended up getting killed, but he's done a phenomenal job so far. And, you know, a lot of people, they look at the game number 1, they meme him, they mock him after about obviously Doran didn't play at Worlds and how a lot of people said that it would have made a difference.
Yeah.
He's going up against Summit here, who is easily touted as top 2 LCK top laner.
Yeah. It is Summit and Keen right now, and based on performance
usually,
in Game 1...
only Keen can actually find edges over Summit inside of laning phase and manage to outperform him. And Doran's doing that here in game number 3. And even in game number 2, he held his own, which is the exact things that we talked about last
game
summer.
Number 1. If you're talking about the laning phase, I mean, it was the Kennen matchup for the Aatrox, not an easy one for Summit to be able to navigate right there. However, Doran was certainly not the reason in the laning phase why DragonX fell down in game number 1. Now heading towards his Black Cleaver by the looks of things with that phage in his back pocket, and does, of course, have the Executioner's Calling just for the laning phase victory against this Aatrox. Slices, dices, gets out of the way of any issues. As Chovy's having a rough time, honestly, in this lane. But the Tiamat's going to help him stay relevant as far as the farm, and that farm lead has not increased from Dove. In fact, he's pulled it back, got to about 20 a little while ago. As now Doran's going aggressive onto Summit. Slices, dices, gets himself around, and the chains are not going to bind this time. And Pioshik is here waiting in the wings. Renekton and Elise, the best friends club. not a combo that has seen all that much success, as Shelly's being sick towards the top side, and now Pyosik looking for Summit. Conqueror is going to proc as the World Ender's time is being eaten up. This may not be a 1v1 that you want, Pyosik. Oh my goodness. Looks for the cocoon, flashes out of the way, and in goes Doran. The Ruthless Predator is there, and Pyosik, it was close, but he's going to live.
Not very clean, but they get the kill in the end anyway. And that was one of the instances where the Conqueror, it does proc, it starts becoming very valuable.
Yeah. In fact, probably kept Pyosik alive, just given the fact that he was down to such low health margins. And with the W attack speed in Spider form, you actually do get to the Conqueror pretty fast, which is why it does work out so well.
So anyways, right now, in this game, DragonX are in a really commanding position. And fortunately for DragonX, SANDBOX rolled a pretty terrible dragon. In regards to, it's not going to be as valuable towards them as an Infernal would be.
I mean, at least if DragonX get it, Pyosik just gets to utilize the 30-second cooldown on the extra movement speed by just transforming over and over again. Which I believe is how that one works.
The other thing about the Cloud Soul is you can argue that it's... Oh, Leo.
Yeah, getting exhausted. Hook is going to go wide. Good sidestep there from Leo. He's trying to turn it back around now as Gorilla dredgelines himself into the wall. Pyosik absolutely fine. As the Krogs are just going to reset. Chovy makes his way down, but he's lost about half of his health bar, and Def wants to have these plates all to himself.
And this is really, really nice. They get 3 in bot lane, they got 4 in top lane, so 7 plates total.
And now this is probably one of the biggest deficits I've seen Summit in ever. I don't think I've ever seen him down 40 CS.
Yes.
And yes, DragonX did do this on purpose. They were utilizing the Elise and the Renekton combo with Carrier constantly roaming towards the top side. This game was Operation Shut Down Summit, and they have done it successfully. We're going to check the pro view here of Pyosik. Tries to avoid some of these Qs. And look at that, the Conqueror was doing work.
Yeah. Doing a lot of value right there. Summit couldn't quite get the kill. He said, I'm sorry. It's all okay.
Yeah, it is. It is okay.
As
Bubble's going to land a lot of damage onto Chovy there. Even gets super soaked.
Now, one of the things I didn't get to mention was the Mountain Drake was picked up. And against Renekton and Kiana, little bits of armor, it is pretty big. What is Elise? Oh, that's her animation for that, huh?
She's going to Cocoon Dove after the flash. I mean, Hex Flash, sorry, as Deft is going to take down the outer turret on the bottom side. They trade it for outer and mid, but this one's going to go down as well. DragonX trading up once more. Local gold, I believe, was missed by Doran right there. However, still able to get the global variety of it.
So right here, you can notice that Aatrox actually had a 5-minion wave. He could have pulled it down and tried to freeze, and then Renekton can't walk up because Olaf's there. Which means that Doran would have been zoned out of this entire wave, and because it's a cannon minion, it would have meant that Aatrox almost could have just effectively killed Doran once. But because
of my friend, say it's just...
I'm preaching to the choir right now.
Yeah, you are.
But eventually, much like Morello and Leandri's,
it will see its last day.
will eventually appear.
So flashing around, you always got to pick up them redemptions. That's what you got to do. And redemption is what we're looking for. Frozen waves. Redemption for the frozen waves. You just don't have them. On Fleet clears out that minion wave. Loves every single little minion that he can get his hands on from these lanes. Doran comes down bottom side, collects himself a Trouble Bubble, and the Paddle Star misses. So he's fine. And Tiamat plus the Q is going to successfully just alleviate that lane of all of its minions. Def staying out of the way of double up range is certainly a smart maneuver. Severum and Gravitum currently equipped. So it doesn't have all of the range of the Calibrum available at the moment, but will be able to help take down Shelly very easily. SANDBOX used this opportunity to get this bottom outer turret. And the attention on Summit continues.
Yeah. As it's a 3,000 gold advantage right now for DragonX. And the Kiana really hasn't done anything this game. I do have to point that out. So we'll have to wait until later stages to see what Chovy can end up doing. But this Kiana pick is Not really achieved a whole bunch. Infernal Chains lands there onto Kyria. Aatrox still waiting to complete his Black Cleaver.
Well, DragonX might be able to get a double charge out of Shirley.
Yeah, they're
here.
going to be able to raise this bottom, or this top tier 3 turret for sure.
Have they taken the lesson? As there's a true display of talent, good by Summit. This is not the kind of laning that this guy has experienced so far, but they did take the inhibitor, which means that DragonX will miss out on a lot of gold. They're going to need to utilize the extra map pressure effectively to help alleviate that issue.
And the thing about this is I really hope that we get a CS. So it's 137.
Yeah, 137 to 191 right now.
So 137 to 191 is what the current top lane gap is. And now, here's another minion wave that is going over to MF for free. And the opponents will not see any more minion waves, although the RNG on the super minion spawn means that there was one more regular cannon wave.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is the second wave that is going into nothingness. So this will be, what, 450 gold into nothing, into the void.
But if we have a look here, it means that DragonX can find themselves open path towards this outer turret in the mid lane. If they can take that, that will be another positive thing as Def takes a double up but is able to get out using that death sentence. Sorry, the Dark Passage. Blake.
Now once
we'll get that ward as well.
SANDBOX gets this third wave up in top, that'll be 650 swung into SANDBOX's bank account that DragonX doesn't get access to. Fourth wave coming in, that'll be 850. And it keeps adding up. This is the thing that I mentioned. We had a cast earlier this week where
it was the Genji match.
Turned away.
Oh, wait. Yes. Was it T1 or was it Genji? I think it might have been. Okay. We'll give them benefit of the doubt. It was you were casting it with Valdez at the time.
They turned away from the mid inhibitor turret. Okay, so those are all the waves right there. There is enormous amount of gold that needs to be picked up.
Oh, OnFleek just stole the red buff as well with an axe.
Next wave coming in, that's going to break 1,000. The one that is running down top. And you can see how, yes, they have added map pressure. Now, obviously, they're getting some rewards from this. But is it greater than the XP in addition to the gold that is being granted in top lane? They ended up raising a turret, so that's going to be a 500 gold swing that goes DragonX's way, but DragonX will probably get that turret even without the top inhibitor.
Well, that's the thing, and they weren't able to take this outer turret in the mid lane, which is
that's
largely
the
more
real
important. Exactly.
Problem going on. Here's another wave.
It's the K-Ram advantage, despite not having side lane turrets, is still in SANDBOX's favor.
And also, look at what is happening with the XP because of this top lane. These waves keep dying over and over. Talk about this all the time. This indirectly is an example of freezing.
Yeah.
It is waves going into the void that the opponents can't eat, they can't get access to, can't get the gold, can't get the XP. It's happening under different circumstances.
And you see here, that super minion is left at that minion wave.
Yeah.
Someone did that on purpose to make sure the minion wave
That
just
it
dies.
keeps freezing.
Well, Gorilla is actually just going to flash in. Supreme Display of Talent does come down. Gorilla in trouble. Uses the stopwatch, but doesn't have the Aftershock anymore. But now in comes the Olaf. Summit in there as well. Doesn't get onto Carrier. Great hook. Great play, and now he has to run out. The slows are going to come in as Doran goes golden underneath the turret, but DragonX are destroying this team fight. Another Q. OnFleek wants to do it as Dove, able to lock down that kill, but the max range hook onto OnFleek, and now Def finds himself as many kills as he would like. Dove is going to go down. Pyoshik grabs that with a cheeky Q, and Carrier dies to a turret.
And they might actually be able to end the game here, so someone's rejoicing like, aha!
Yeah, see, this is why you take the inhibitors.
Yes, that had nothing to do with Summit. Leroy Jenkinsing.
Jenkinsing, yep.
For the second game in a row.
Verb. It's a tough one.
That one is that's a tough verb. He did it in game number 2 at the bottom tier 2 turret. If you recall, he just world-endered, ran right past his teammates, even though Kyria was inting into the turret. He did it here yet again.
But now, it's actually this weird situation where that inhibitor being down is now good for DragonX. As we watch the replay, it's now good for them because there's only one Nexus turret. And so those super minions can now threaten to win the game.
Watch this right here as Gorilla's going to end up going down, and Summit, he could just have not engaged here, and it would have been fine. OnFleek would have been able to get out. At the end of it, you gave up 1 kill, but you're getting so much value from the top lane itself, and the opponent can't just start Baron. If they try to turn and go back over to Baron, then you can eventually go back over to it. You've taken all your jungle camps already. And DragonX, they managed to clean up the team fight. One of them ends up going down at the very end. But there's a lot of underappreciated things that are happening on the map, and it's not every day that you get to talk about them. So for me, it's really exciting.
Yeah, no, I like it too. And because of all of these exciting things, we've missed the fact that Cloud Soul is just going to go over to... sorry, no, that's not true. The Drakes are in favor of SANDBOX right now, so
yes.
The Cloud Soul has been denied from SANDBOX.
There
I looked
were
at the top of the screen and got excited. But,
several thousand
not a
gold
thing.
that went into the void in top lane.
Yeah.
Just to point that out. So
So
obviously, though, they did get an Nexus turret.
Yeah. So the calculation was good. It was correct. You shouldn't have taken that inhibitor just there, although you might look at it.
The result-based.
Yeah. But it shouldn't be results-based analysis, because actually DragonX could have just as easily been winning by this margin without that situation. As Deft still hasn't died on Aphelios on his 3rd match so far.
I don't know when they'll just start banning him in MF instead of just banning the solution stuff.
Yeah,
it really makes
strange
no
ban.
sense.
Should Lee Sin be banned every game?
No.
You know, probably not. Despite Pyoshik being pretty good on the champion and was part of their victory. OnFleek will start off this blue buff, and Dove should be able to collect it for himself unless this volatile Spiderling gets a move on. Doesn't. And now the Baron is where DragonX are looking to fight around. You can see all of the vision is there. They have 3 control wards around this pit, and I believe 1 in there as well. There is a blue ward that just timed out. And so now SANDBOX have absolutely no vision apart from that one that just went in. See whether Chovy dances on over to try and pick that one up, as Deft will move back into Fog of War. Now DragonX, they have Aphelios, and what he does is murders the Baron extraordinarily quickly.
You know what? You think you're really fancy right now. Tell me what he does.
Well, he has 5 different guns. Currently, he has Infernum, which are
don't try to walk
a lot of
road.
AoE damage, but not necessarily
Atlas,
the
be
most
really
single
careful
target.
here.
Why? What do you mean?
There's probably very few casters that can do this. Go ahead, describe what Aphelios does.
Well, he wants to get Crescendum, actually. Does the most single target DPS.
Okay.
If you're standing
What
right
color
next
is it?
to the opponent. It's a white one.
Okay.
It's the one that has little chakrams.
Excellent.
Travel around you. You can then switch to your other gun, and you use your offhand weapon to, in fact, continue to do chakram damage.
All right.
It's how Leo was able to 2-pop Deft.
All right.
In that team fight in game number 2.
Okay, go on.
Very, very dangerous. Currently, Deft is using up his Infernum ammo as much as possible in order to have his other weapons available. And there it is. There's the Crescendum that we were talking about. The turret is up, and we're doing lots of smacking down.
It took you about a minute and a half. You got through 1 gun?
Yeah, no, half a gun. Yeah. This is a Latios, okay? Now Chovy's been discovered on the backside. Supreme display of talent. Oh, the Infernal Chains were brilliant, but doesn't get the second Q, even after the Umbral Dash, and they do have to pull away from the Baron. Severum and Crescendum for Deft. Oh, it's beautiful.
Now, what does that do?
Well, that one gives you the spinny, shooty.
Okay, and what does
I
it
believe
do?
it's called Onslaught. It just does damage in a cone, as Deft is now dead.
Oh!
Wow. Boom goes the dynamite. Is this going to be another game where an Aphelios dies and the game is over?
I would actually really like to see this sinful team composition lose this game after this many advantages. It always does just rustle my jimmies.
Well, that's his first death on the Aphelios as well, and maybe is a game-ending one. At that, you saw all of the vision that DragonX had that was so aggressively placed. But SANDBOX found themselves an avenue to walk on up.
I think SANDBOX are ahead now. They're down 5,000 gold, but you gotta understand, it's a Kiana, a Renekton, and a Elise. They are full of Sith. These champions decay very rapidly. We're taking a look at the replay here. And honestly, I mean, that's a beautiful bump.
That timing from the stopwatch
and then they're saying
as well.
push. I think they're ahead. They're down 5k. They do have a Mountain Dragon, though, which is giving them some gold in terms of the resistances.
But they'll definitely be ahead as soon as Pyoshik dies. If Pyoshik dies, that's so much extra gold, 800 to whoever kills him. And that's going to be a huge swing. And now the map is in favor of a SANDBOX squad that are pretty happy to fight around this Baron, especially with Zoe.
Yeah, and they have
throwing the bubbles.
Cloud Soul even coming up in 30 seconds. This is a really dangerous spot.
Yeah.
And you got to also consider that a lot of the gold is inside of the Elise, and unlike Karthus, it doesn't really matter if she's super far ahead because she tends to conduct herself in the same exact way unless she is oppressively far ahead in the early mid-game transition. That's when she's most scary.
Well, Doran's here towards the bottom side, trying to get the pressure on. A back coming in from Summit, but he does have teleport available. Same can be said for the Renekton on the other side. As OnFleek, he's trying his hand as a split pusher.
Yeah. And I mean, you may as well. Now, they are actually going to give over the Cloud Soul. And I've talked about this actually a lot, I think with Valdez, that when you get the 3 dragons, you don't have to take the 4th one. You can just make it so the enemy has to keep stacking up Drakes. And when it's the Cloud one, that's the one that feels really bad.
Yeah, you're not too worried about it.
20% ultimate CDR on some of these DragonX champions, really not the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah, for an Elise, certainly means nothing at all. Moonlight Vigil, good to have that one up and available as often as possible, and currently Def does have his first 3 items completed. Leo's still looking for his Bloodthirster. But Leo's slowly but surely getting towards his item timings, and he's going back now. I wonder whether he's actually able to collect it. So this is a reminiscent gold graph. Saw similar in game number 1, but at this stage it had already started to go south for DragonX far more than it has. But this Zoe timing, she's got herself to 3 items. Dove still looking for target after target. And he can do this. He's not getting punished.
So what Zoe
for
does,
his positioning.
She's very blue in this control.
Oh yes.
Not blue Dabadita. All right.
Guy.
But very controlling.
Yeah, does have the blue buff now as well, so even more blue, as she
Atlas,
otherwise was.
If you ever get into Magic the Gathering, just
No,
remember.
oh, if I do, yeah.
Just what? Just didn't know right away. Alice, if you ever get into it, make sure to just play blue.
Okay.
Blue's the best color.
All right. I was a control player in Hearthstone. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. That's where blue is.
All right, nice.
Do you like your opponents not having fun?
Yes.
Oh, me too.
That's precisely how I play. I like inevitable wins.
Yes!
You know?
Yes!
Where like they know that the game is going to take another 20 minutes, but they're definitely going to lose.
When the win occurs via their concession.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Oh, just beautiful. When it comes to like MOBAs and like League of Legends, I like it when you're having equal amounts of fun, you know? But when I'm playing card games, man, no.
I need you
That's
to not
about
have
emotional
fun. I need
turmoil.
you exactly.
Yeah.
Like looking across the table, playing in person, and just seeing their mental collapse.
Yeah, just watching
Yes,
their brain go, there is no way I can ever win
watching
this.
the frustration.
Yep.
You know? That's the best.
Yeah, really good times. Really, really good times. Well, OnFleek continues to look for these side lane minions.
This is completely fine. And honestly, DragonX has not got a lot of value out of the top lane ever since the fall of those turrets.
Yep. Well, I mean, the turrets are still standing, so outer, they're still standing gold possibilities for SANDBOX, as we've got a Baron that's still alive.
And honestly, the turrets on the map are making up actually a lot of the gold difference, and when we're starting to get to 31 minutes, Renekton, he does have 3 items, and the 3 items aren't super bad here. They are somewhat valuable, but he, for the most part, has slowed down. And Elise is basically locked on the same items for so long. It's Zanya's Hourglass, Runic Echo, and then the Morellonomicon. And outside of that, there's not really too much else coming in. Kiana, the unfortunate thing for her is the enemy team actually has armor resistances as well as that Mountain Dragon.
Oh, Dove in trouble.
They might have
Stopwatch
found
is
the
great
window.
timing. There's the supreme display of talent. Oh my god, the chakrams from downtown. Not quite enough to take down Dove. I believe that was Calibrum Crescendum combo, and it's not fun to deal with.
And now Gorilla and Leo trying to shove out mid lane. DragonX, Aphelios annihilates Baron.
He does, especially with this particular gun. Doran just playing goalkeeper. He's not even necessary. As the Elise is able to secure it, all of that gold still sitting in Pioshik's pocket. Has himself the Zhonya's Hourglass and a stopwatch as well. So it's going to take a while before Pioshik dies. Also not a lot of room for anything. Has a elixir there on in his back pocket. Leo probably would have liked that blue buff summit, but got to make sure that you deny it from your enemy.
And the really cool thing here also is just because DragonX has the Baron doesn't mean that the game is over. There's still going to be another fight left in this. Zoe, unfortunately, not able to get to that Oblivion Orb before... Okay!
Just caught out of position. Pioshik now the next target, but Deft is there. Does have the Crescendum available. And is starting to stack up these Chakrams. Doran looking from the side. Yeah, picks up.
Yumus! Yeah, it must be nice.
Yeah,
it must be nice to run like God.
That's what happens when you're really good at Zoe. The bubble is going to land. Doran has to face tank it. Let's get the Ruthless Predator, and Dove takes a lot of extra damage based on that. Teleport to come back in here
and are
from
they
the
just gonna
Aatrox.
Get the Cloud Soul? I don't know why they're hesitating doing this, because when Chovy's up, Home Guard, plus being Kiana, you get back into the fights really quick.
Oh, that's the Flash Cocoon. It lands onto Gorilla, but the Stone Plate is going to keep him alive for the moment. Doran, that's a dangerous slice and dice. The bubble is going to be taken. Can he get onto the lantern? He can. Sterix keeps him alive as well as Gorilla. Underneath the turret is going to survive for the moment. As Pioshik going golden will save him for now. I hope he used his Zhonya's and didn't break another stopwatch as Doran. What is this positioning down to his GA? For what feels like no reason, Deft wants to clean up the turret, does so.
I think Chovy's going to kill them both.
Yeah, Chovy wanting to dive in to try and stop them from taking this as On Fleek now trying to run away. Cloud Soul activated. Extra movement speed.
Oh, this could be the game.
Yep, there's the flash forward. The lantern is there as well as the flash was picked up. Is it enough? Dove, yes, gets himself out of the way. The Splinter Spray of talent is going to be there as now Deft looking to take down Summit as he respawns. It hasn't been his game today on this Aatrox. 6,000 gold now the lead for DragonX. Yes, there's a Cloud Soul, but they may not have a base after this.
And Elder is coming up next. So we'll have to see. Zoe did manage to complete her Oblivion Orb, and that's actually really big because there's 0 magic resistance present on the side of DragonX. So take a look at this replay here. Chovy ends up getting picked off. He didn't have the supreme display of talent. Summit going way too far forward again, though, losing a lot of his HP. It almost cost SANDBOX in the ensuing fight in mid lane. Right here, though, World Ender back up, able to get reactivated by taking down Kyria, and then he goes for Death. Ends up being taken down, losing his Guardian Angel, so that'll be an item that they will be down. But they managed to stave off all of the Baron. And so Baron's going to be coming up again, as well as Elder Dragon. But unfortunately, this will put the Aatrox behind the Renekton ever so slightly.
Yeah, in fact, Doran's continued to kill minions very, very well. Hasn't been able to shop just recently. Now going to go back. I think has enough money to complete either the Titanic Hydra or the Mortal Reminder. We'll see where he actually decides to go as that completes. And it's actually just getting rid of his Tiamat, and he's going to complete a Spirit Visage instead. So we'll help him take less damage from Dove, and also synergizes very well with the kit of the Renekton. And if I look down the line, there is an Oblivion Orb, but there is nothing to stop healing on the side of SANDBOX. So I like Spirit Visage here.
Yeah.
Continue stacking that health up. Still waiting for his Guardian Angel to come off cooldown. That will be when Doran is completely powered back up. Leo has Rapid Fire Cannon in addition to everything else. Is 17.7k damage so far for Dove. He has been in control of the mid game, but when it's straight up team fights that are hard engaged by DragonX, that is not when Zoe shines. So we're still seeing the damages.
I also
damages received.
Feel like more often than not, Kiana is going to actually play out these lines pretty consistently. I think every time we've seen her, she doesn't really do that much until the later stages, but that's not a reason to pick her.
No. And I mean, look, he hasn't been feeding. He got picked off that one time, but otherwise Chovy has been, you know, okay. But I still don't see what this Kiana is doing that, you know, the Fizz couldn't have done, or one of the other picks couldn't have done instead.
Even just playing mid lane Pyke and going something like Karthus jungle and pseudo-funneling him
Yeah.
would be a lot more valuable. Or even funneling him via the Kiana because she's able to leave lane because she functions so well on low economy with just a couple of items.
Yep. You can basically function like a Pyke.
Yeah.
And it's sort of what she's been doing as well. Has evened things out as far as farm is concerned, and that has a lot to do with being able to spend some time here towards the top side. And now inside track to this inhibitor turret is being gifted to SANDBOX. As our DragonX are wondering whether it's time to actually go for some sort of re-engage, but there are no solo laners there.
Smite was just used on a cannon, I guess to soften it. Oh, man.
Spiderlings tank that one up for them as Doran dives into the backline, gets the flash forward. Jovi in for the supreme display of talent, lands onto a couple of members, but double stopwatches are utilized. Gorilla's gigantic in the backline, but Summit's just dead, and OnFleek is running for the hills. Hook in onto Gorilla, nothing he can do, and somehow DragonX find themselves a team fight that I wasn't expecting them to be able to find.
And they have the minions actually up in top lane, so are they just going to run over there? No, they're indecisive with what they want to do because they don't have a minion wave in mid. So even though there's one Nexus turret, there's not a teleport up on Doran available to lock that down. They're going to play it slow and steady, not want to give anything up to chance against the MF, Zoe, and the Olaf. And remember, MF would have had the ultimate available to clear out the minion wave. So we're going to play it as careful as possible, get the Baron enhanced stats, and now we're going to be looking for an Elder Dragon. We take a look at how this fight ends up transpiring. Doran gets cut up, but flashes into the enemy team. Leo, he cleanses, but Chovy with the flank. Summit left alone on an island on the right-hand side, ends up dying. Olaf does what he does best, running away, doing absolutely nothing.
Doran actually played that fight really well, frontlining for his team. Spirit Visage paying off dividends, as Dove has only just completed the Forbidden Book now. And yeah, Gorilla was a big body in the front line, but he doesn't actually do all that much at this stage, apart from try to peel for his carries.
The Void Staff was actually picked up on the Elise, so this is going to allow her to deal true damage to some of the targets on the side of SANDBOX, but she was probably already really close to dealing a lot of damage, or very close to true damage, so I feel like rather than a Void Staff kind of a game, if you have that kind of money, just get the Liandry's, because a lot of these fights are conducted in a poke and siege scenario. And so Runic Echo combined with the Liandry's does so much for you, as well as the Madness passive, increasing all of your total damage dealt by 10%.
Well, it's taking over to 40 minutes, LS. This is certainly going the distance, as DragonX are looking to try and close this one out, but they haven't been able to get towards any inhibitors just yet. They haven't been able to utilize this Baron, so they're going to choose the Elder Drake as their point of victory, as there's a teleport back from Doran, actually maybe into his death, as Leo going to cleanse for no reason, actually, as Doran slices to get himself out. Success as far as the disengage is now. We've got a reset on this Elder. That's a little bit of a issue there as bullet time flies over the top. The Elise locks down the Elder, and now this is huge for DragonX. Carrier going down very low. The Ignite is in there. The heal utilized by Deft in order to keep them up. Oh, Calibrum Crescendum was there for Deft. That was time for the team fight win, and SANDBOX do manage to get themselves the reset.
And this is honestly just smoke and mirrors over and over, and this is a byproduct of how vulnerable and weak the DragonX team composition is. Even when they're up with the Baron stats, with the Elder, they took so much damage doing it, though, that they're going to have to wait and reposition. They're going to dance one more time to try to get an edge, especially because a lot of their champions are still up, some core items, but it's still vulnerable.
Yeah, we got a 6-item Renekton. This guy's huge right now.
Not every day you actually get to see that.
Yeah. Has himself that Mortal Reminder. That was completed towards the end there.
Doran is doing fantastic. Baron and Elder minions coming up mid lane. Deft, yeah, he took a lot of damage, and Baron is dissipating in 5 seconds. I don't even know if they'll...
Oh my god, the burn damage actually procs off the chakrams. That is just disgusting.
Yeah.
On this Aphelios, hook goes wide. Deft's still standing at the back, but has got all of his health back.
I love League of Legends.
Yeah. Now Infernum is online, so these mini waves aren't going to last very long at all. Big crits in an AoE. Very, very frightening. Deft trying to hold on to Calibrum for as long as possible because he wants it to stay safe in these team fights. He has his Mercurial Scimitar, so if a bubble does land, it's not going to mean the end for him yet again. As we are so close to the first Elise win of the LCK for 2020. But we're not there yet.
Well,
Lying in wait. Goodness me, that's a lot of damage. Still, 4 minutes
8,000
on the Elder.
yeah, 8,000 gold difference doesn't mean anything. We are at 42 minutes in this game, and it's not like there's any champions that are really going to 6 items beyond the 80 carries. And Deft is already there on Aphelios, and Leo probably
Pretty close.
soon to follow, yeah. Very, very soon to follow.
But when Dove gets a Void Staff, he's going to do so much damage to everyone on DragonX, and there's not a lot
Already
that DragonX can
yeah.
do to avoid it, right? Like, he's so safe when he's portal jumping around from behind walls and getting the bubbles on the
And also even
targets.
the Cloud Soul
Yeah, true.
is helping in some instances, and so we just have this stalemate scenario right now.
Double lifesteal done for Deft. 6 items complete. He's making his way back out now as Doran slices onto...
The true objective here, the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, they do lock that one down.
Okay,
Movable vision.
Elder is... honestly, okay. The hook.
Doran, yeah, hook does land.
What?
on
That
the summit.
Q!
That was very strange.
Through the wall. That is that's some Pennywise, if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, straight out of the gutter.
I saw it with you.
Yeah, we
I remember
did.
That was great.
He denied it on Twitter.
Yeah, you
Very
left
upset.
halfway.
I did not.
Yeah.
I stayed for the whole thing and enjoyed it.
You got proof.
No. That's why I was so upset. Oh, man.
Well,
Win some, you lose some.
Mortal Reminder, by the way, was the armor penetration item of choice for Doran.
Yeah, we'll see whether one of them is going to be collected by Chovy as well, or whether he goes for a Lord Dominic's, just to make sure that his damage stays as relevant as possible onto more tanky targets. Do have a lot of armor being completed in these GAs and the stone plate and things like that, and the Kiana damage is not going to be registering as powerfully. Still will be tearing through Leo if he can get on top of him, as On Fleek looking for Chovy, but he's in the river, and therefore has access to a bunch of stuns.
I feel like we're watching Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time.
Yeah.
You know how it took like 3 episodes?
Yeah.
Or SSJ3 against Boo?
Yeah, we're gonna go to a break now.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with our episode 2 or 3 or 7. Which episode are we up to now?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the filler content between the episodes that we're watching
Yeah.
now. Because of course, when the show stops, the timeline doesn't stop.
Now, the thing that you're going to want to do here, if you're watching this, is identify which skin it is that you like the most out of all these champions. Make sure to get yourself that.
Yep, hop over to the Riot store. Oh my goodness, that hook missing. Could be a huge problem. Knockup's coming in here from Summit, who's trying to dash away. Ruthless Predator does stun him up. Taking a fair bit of damage. Remember, Mortal Reminder on Doran is actually effective here as Carrier gets the hook, lands it onto Gorilla. Maybe not the priority target they're looking for, as now it's On Fleek diving into the backline, trying to find Deft, but he can't do it. Down to multiple GAs here for SANDBOX, but Dove's off to the side. Leo gets caught out, and now Deft is free to destroy. Double kill already. Doran gets exhausted, but Dove, he knows that he doesn't have a frontline to play around. On Fleek doesn't have the options as Pioshik over to the side flashes for the Cocoon, finishes off his opposite number. And now DRX think, nope, no need for a Baron. We're just going to win this one and take down SANDBOX's first loss
And
in the LCK 2020.
SANDBOX right there. If you're Leo, you have to feel so bad as that. You know what? In every sense of the word, that really was the death sentence.
Oh, yeah.
As the Thresh hook landing onto MF, locked her up, persisted beyond death. And that's going to be it. Zoe can't do
Oh,
anything.
and another Cocoon. Pioshik earning his paycheck here today on the Elise 8-0-9. I like it when the MVPs are easy to dole out because that was one hell of a performance from the rookie jungler, letting us know exactly why he was chosen here by CV Max. Big cuddles from the gentleman himself, as Doran as well. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from this guy on the top side that I was doubting. I know a lot of people were doubting, especially after Quad was victorious. subbing in after his suspension, but get him off the cannon, get him onto a top lane champion that, you know, can get up close and personal. Doran looked brilliant. Fist bumps all round there for the Elise. Coming out of the jungle. Come on, mate. Just get into it. Oh my gosh. Well, it's another unanimous vote ruined by an English-speaking broadcaster, and this time it ain't gonna be me. I'll tell you that much.
If he gets it, Doran is robbed.
I mean,
he's gonna
get it.
I know he is. You know, but
the writing's on the wall. As OnFleek packing up to go home. I'm glad that we saw an example of SANDBOX's weakness, because against APK Prince, APK weren't able to get them to that stage of the game that they look uncomfortable in.
The thing is, though, is they played from a deficit this time around very well. And honestly, the DragonX team composition was an absolute bonfire.
Oh yeah, it was disgusting.
The fact that the players were managed to remain steadfast despite the discrepancy as the game reached the end stage was really good. It was very akin to T1.
Yeah.
Turning the tides in mechanical fashion. In the face. You're right. In the face of what should not have been possible. Kyria landing that very clutch hook at the end.
He had some huge moments for DragonX. Glad that he gets his time in the spotlight here as well. But Pyosik really putting on a clinic around the earlier stages of the game, landing the cocoons that he needed to.
I gave my MVP vote to Doran.
I know you did. I know you did.
Not only did he save Pyosik from that mess up on Aatrox inside of the blue side jungle, which
he was also able to outlane Summit.
He also outlaned Summit, he rode him, and he was also a very big saving factor in a lot of those team fights in the mid game.
Yeah.
That turned the tides. Him and Chovy in that one fight in mid lane, there were so many instances where Doran did so much. So I don't care what the KDA says, okay, on Pyosik. I don't care what the camera guy zooming in on him thinks.
Yeah.
For me, it's Doran.
Well, for me, it was the guy with the cool numbers, because I'm a play-by-play. I like to look at the screen, identify the cool numbers, and then tell you about the cool numbers, and he had the coolest numbers. If you're legendary without dying, feels pretty good.
Yeah, sort of like owning a prestige skin.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you know what we need to do? I think we need to go to the MVP interview.
Yeah. But first we're going to go to the highlights.
Yeah, we'll do some highlights, and then we're going to go to the MVP interview and check out exactly what happened here. And when we're going over these highlights, I want you guys to just notice how well Pyosik played.
Yeah. So Pyosik and Kyria both are here. Again, the lane state and top lane extremely favorable. OnFleek a little bit too late. Kyria and Pyosik here yet again.
Yeah. And actually, to be honest, this is a lot of it being Kyria's either death sentence timing or vision manipulation.
It looks like Kyria's going to get the MVP. And honestly, he was my second candidate for MVP. If we could have multiple votes or something, it would definitely be him, especially because of the death sentence at the end.
Yeah.
But
a lot of these moments certainly Kyria.
So much, man. He actually did. And it would actually be really nice for the people that hated on him this series to actually just recognize what he did do, even though, yeah, he had a Leroy Jenkins cannon game number 1.
But then he won on it.
Yeah,
you know, the turnaround performance. This was sick.
That is Albert.
Yeah.
The toad right there.
Good night.
His name Kim.
Sweet prince.
Philios is what, he's going to throw up or something?
I mean, I'd throw up after that kind of disgusting death.
Yeah, I guess.
And I wouldn't blame Chovy for the same reaction.
And again, watch Doran here.
This
Gets
was
in
sick.
onto Leo, sets up the flank for Chovy. And even still, I mean, Doran was just doing so much, so often. We're going to go to Team Voice.
Let's hear what DragonX had to say.
Let's take this slow.
앞에 살려라 얘들아. 앞에 살려.
올라프 노플이야.
미포 끌었어. 미포. 앞에 살려봐. 그냥 몸 대줘.
ಮುಂ대줘 그냥.
앞에 살려봐. 라인 살려 얘들아. 어때?
만화 없는데.
Now they're talking about
Line
making
line
sure the
line
lane
line
lives.
라인
야
살리고
노플이야 노플.
라인 살리고 미드 하자 라인 살리고 미드 하자
올라프 봐,
조이,
올라프
조이,
봐.
조이.
나텔텔텔텔텔.
들어봐 미드
Yeah, Doran saying that he has teleport available.
조이 큐 조심해, 조이
어
큐.
조이 조심
Don't give a kill over to Zoe.
나 기도하고 있을게 얘들아
Be careful not to give a kill over to Zoe.
어
Oh, we can end. We
아,
can end.
이번에 끝나게.
기도하고 있을게 얘들아
Let's end. Let's end, guys.
아 미안하다.
Concentrate. Focus.
I like that. Not celebrating too soon.
산둥이 하나다 제발
Please.
드래곤.
와 나이스
미안하다. 할수 게 없다.
와
마공이죠. 뭐야? 야 끝내. 나이스.
Yeah,
야.
It was also really interesting in the team fight, very akin to Griffin. No one was really talking except for Keria.
Yeah, it was actually. I feel like the CV Max influence has
Yeah.
started to take hold because the start of that team fight was so controlled.
And silent, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you think of like what is the direct opposite? Gen G and their extraordinarily explosive comms at every
Yes.
single stage of the game. That is precisely the
And
opposite of this.
This is another thing. Now, DragonX won, and I don't want to take that away from them. But again, really want to hammer home. You have that many advantages early on, which is a dream scenario.
Yeah.
Not every game that you go up 7,000 gold with these kind of champions, and then you still struggle to end. And when you're looking at that game in a vacuum, SANDBOX, they were making mistakes and still couldn't end. So, player of the game is actually going to be given over to Pioshik.
With a runner-up in Carrier, and then maybe Doran deserves.
I see
a
two people
little
on
look.
my screen here.
Yeah, and to be honest, like it was Carrier holding off on the death sentence to make sure that he can get it at the right time,
Now,
playing
this-
perfectly.
This right here, the Renekton that comes over to salvage this, and then Elise flashing away for her life. So if Renekton's not here, if Doran's not here, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, baited a flash, man.
All right, let's
baited a
hold on.
flash.
I'm paying attention here.
Yeah,
Elise damaging on Fleek.
got a point-blank cocoon onto Summit.
Okay, and
Meanwhile, Doran wins the
meanwhile,
team fight.
Doran and Chovy 2v4 the team fight, or
Uh-huh.
2v3 the.
I'm still happy with my choice.
It's an interesting choice there, Cotton.
He's legendary.
Yeah,
He has an indefinable
he had really good
KDS.
stats. Yeah.
because he can't divide by 0, and that was the amount of deaths that he had that game. And it's the first time that Elise has won. So obviously a really difficult
there you go.
champion to win on. Okay? So he automatically started off the game at a deficit. So, I don't know, man. I don't know whether you want any more from me. Because also, he's the rookie of the team. And we were expecting mixed results from his first few games.
Yeah.
But I think he certainly played well. And now we get to hear from him as well, because we will be throwing over to that MVP interview. So here's Ji-sun for some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun with the Universe Translation. And let's hear from the POG players, Chovy and Pioshik. Chovy, it's your first POG. How do you feel right now? I didn't know. I was the POG, so I was going back to my player's room, but Mina just grabbed me and told me I'm gonna be doing the MVP interview. Well, especially game number 2, I died in some awkward moments, so I really didn't think that I would be the one. And Pioshik, 2 POGs in a row. DRX once again came back after losing game number 1. Does it kind of take time for the players to warm up? Well, I was feeling comfortable in game number 1. However, the game did not go as we planned.
자신감 넘치는 답변 잘 들었습니다. 자, 초비 선수가
So, Chovy,
노틸 선픽을 이제
you guys actually first picked Nautilus. So, was that a flex pick or was that a mid-specific pick? Well, me and Keria are both really confident on Nautilus, so throughout the pick and bans, we could just flex it to the mid lane or the support.
유동성이 있었지만 결국엔 초비 선수가 노틸러스를 가져왔고 그게 엄청나게 좋은 판단이 됐습니다. 경기를 마무리 지었던 장면.
With this Nautilus on the mid lane, you guys were able to close out the game. Very effective hook work there. So yeah, I thought that I could go for the kill, so I told my teammates I'm gonna hook, and we were able to really pick it up. Without that hook, the game could have been even more extended. And I heard you saying like sorry to the teammates after closing out the game. because I was caught out in the middle of the game, so that was the main reason that why we had the longer game.
자, 그리고 표식 선수가 이제 3세트에서 앨리스를 꺼내 들었는데
In game number 3, you went with Elise, which was on a 5 games losing streak.
표식 선수가 앨리스에게 첫
Pyusik,
승을 안겨줬어요.
you gave her the
어떤
first
점이
win of the split.
다를까요?
What's different between you and other Elise player?
승리 공식은
My winning recipe is Hextech Flash. Elise, you know, can jump over the wall. So if you take Hextech Flash, you can jump over the wall. So you can kind of pull off some unexpected plays.
네, 표식 선수가 원래도 조금 마공점을
So,
좋아하시는 편인가요? 아니면 특별히
do you
앨리스에
prefer Hextech Flash or is it just for the Elise? Just for the Elise. So I only take Hextech Flash only for Elise.
자, 이렇게 DRX가 두 번 다 이번 주에
DRX.
열렸던 경기 중에 두 번 다 승리를 가져갔습니다.
Pick up 2 match wins so far.
시즌 각오
So what's your goal for the split?
일단 오늘은 저희
Today,
팀원들이
our
저희
teammates
끌고 캐리해줬으니까 다음 경기
were carrying the game for me, so in our upcoming series, I want to come back with
네,
improved
지금 감기가
performance.
걸리신 것 같은데
And I heard you caught a cold.
며칠
How are you feeling right now? How is it?
3일 된 것 같은데 저곧
I've been feeling
입은 분들이
bad,
경험하실 수
like,
있어서 모를 것 같아요.
3 days
아, 그냥
so far.
걱정이니까, 네, 빨리 나으시길
I might have to
자,
just
그리고
stay in
표식
my home.
선수, 지금 프로
And
데뷔해서
Pyusik,
정말 잘하고 계세요.
This is your first split, and you are already picking up 2 POGs in a row.
또 프로 데뷔하기 전에 좀 가장 고마운 분이 있다면 누군지
So who do you want to share this credit to?
아무래도 많은 사람들한테 고맙긴
I want to share
한데
this credit
가장 생각나는
with a lot of
사람이
people,
이제
but the first person
부직장의 롤통령이라고
coming in my mind,
내일이면 군대 가시는데
the streamer that joining the Korean army tomorrow. So I want to just say thank you and be safe at the army, and I'm gonna become the best jungler in Korea.
활약 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 자, DRX의 두 번째 승리.
So this
다시
was
한번
DRX
축하드리면서 저희는
picking up the
인터뷰
second
여기서
victory of this
마칠게요.
week, and this will be the end of the interview. And I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jisun, as usual, and that concludes our first match of the day. We're running about an hour behind schedule, something like that. Crazy stuff. So things going to be starting a little bit later, moving into our second series, which is Afrika versus Humble Life for our final match of the day. This is going to be really exciting, and mostly exciting for our friend LS right here, because he's expecting some better drafting out of these two teams. Not sure whether he's going to get what he wants, but at least he's going to get some keen action on the top side.
Ooh, I see
of
what you
the
did
map.
there.
Yeah, it's a nice
That
one,
was,
right?
you are.
Well, we'll see whether
honestly.
Cuvée can stay in form as well, because he actually had a great debut
I think-
against T1.
Freak just woke up in a cold sweat. So that's all I got to say about that. You know.
Oh, God. Please no. We are going to check in on the standings, though, and see the results of SANDBOX falling down. It will mean that they will no longer be tied with Afrika Freaks, and in fact, Afrika will be able to claim sole first place by picking up a 2-0 here. They'll be the only team to go back-to-back 2-0s. Gen G dropping a map, unfortunately, I believe in their first match.
And DragonX just below Gen G by 1 point. We'll see. Now, Afrika can actually clench first.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they
Later
can have
on, yeah.
sole first place.
And
With a
Hanwha
2-0.
Life can tie first.
True. They can. So, could be a possibility here. 2 zeros needed on both sides in order to get ahead of Gen G, but they can equal them with a 2-1. We'll see whether it goes the distance as we get back after a shorter break than normal. Probably about 30 minutes, something like that. So stay tuned, get yourself some popcorn, something like that. We'll be back very